Greetings, everyone, and welcome. Imagine hearing the words, you have rare and aggressive pancreatic cancer already in your lymph nodes, and your longevity is within 6 months without treatment. That was my death sentence in 2016. So, what did I do next? I asked my Heavenly Father for strength. In addition, I double checked my last will and testament and promptly wrote my Celebrating the Life of Angie program and identified participants. Please walk with me for a moment and ask yourself, what would you do if it were you suddenly facing a terminal diagnosis? Ponder on that question for a moment. Here's what I did. I held on to God's healing promises scattered throughout the Bible. 3 John 1 2. For I know the plans I have for you, plans for you to prosper and be in good health. My God intercepted the enemy's death wish and granted me life extension. I'm now in my ninth year of being cancer free. Imagine how dumbfounded I was in 2016 when I was thrust into this pancreatic cancer community. When I entered this PanCan arena, I found out that survival rate statistics were racing against me because under 8% made it to 1 year and under 10% made it to 5 years. I have a pop quiz for you. Did you know that November is Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month? Yes, we also have a month. And on November 20, 2025, we will celebrate World Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Day. And what is our color? It is purple, the regal color of royalty. I have another pop quiz for you. What do you know about pancreatic cancer? While you're thinking about it, here's what the Mayo Clinic says. Pancreatic cancer rarely is found at its early stages when the chance of curing it is greatest. This is because it often doesn't show symptoms until after it has spread to other organs. Here are additional pop quizzes for you. Do you know someone who you dearly love who was diagnosed with a terminal illness? Is this individual your family member, friend, or acquaintance? Is this individual feeling discouraged and overwhelmed by hopelessness? So, what should you do? How about employing listening skills? My friend Marva Shandy McIntosh, founder of I Love to Listen Day, which is celebrated internationally on May 16 of each year, wrote a journal titled Today I Will Listen. And here is the listening affirmation. May you always have one true listener in your life. And may you always strive to be that one true listener in someone's life. Added to the listening affirmation just quoted, why not also include words of hope to the mix, as shared in Isaiah 43, 2-3. When you are facing turmoils of any kind, God will be with you, and I am a witness. Let's enter into the pancreatic cancer statistics arena. And here's good news. As of 2025, the 5-year survival rate is now 13%, and it will get better. When I was initially diagnosed in 2016, it was only 9%. I'm not a medical professional, but in the interest of saving lives, I will share symptoms I experienced and will incorporate experiences of a few individuals who contacted me after they were diagnosed. This disease is subtle and it rarely loses a battle. What are some of the symptoms? My symptoms started with jaundice, rapid weight loss, and I was not dieting. By the time of treatment of chemo and radiation, my weight slipped from 164 pounds to 127 pounds. Then sudden onset of diabetes coupled with unrelenting itching skin, which became my companion. I felt as if I was going to go crazy. Imagine 4 weeks earlier during my annual physical examination, I received a clean bill of health, no signs of health related trouble. That's how subtle this disease operates, as confirmed by Mayo Clinic. For detailed information on symptoms and risk factors and clinical trials, along with extremely encouraging survivor stories and the latest updates on treatment possibilities, please visit websites letswinpc.org and pancan.org. Also, check out a new podcast on YouTube called Pan Chat. Moving forward, it is well documented that pancreatic cancer symptoms mimic other diseases, and that's why it is so difficult for your primary care physician to identify it earlier. Here are a few examples. These individuals who interacted with me were initially treated for other medical issues, but eventually they received the correct diagnosis of pancreatic cancer. As I shared earlier, pancreatic cancer symptoms mimic other diseases. BW, my friend, we attended Harris Memorial High School, Montego Bay, Jamaica, was treated for acid reflux. Miss V called from Jamaica. She could not stop burping. Another young man told me that he was extremely active but started having ongoing feelings of being lethargic. He went to the emergency room and while waiting, he fainted. Pancan stage 4 was discovered. Surgery was immediately performed and he lost 90% of his stomach. So I asked, "What do you eat?" And he jokingly replied, "Whatever stays down." Although the matter was serious, we had a good laugh. I heard many stories over 9 years, but not all individuals exhibited ongoing symptoms. On risk factors, know the symptoms, make healthy food choices, exercise, avoid alcohol and tobacco, be careful of your weight, and tell your healthcare provider of your family history. For example, I told my son Dino that if he has ongoing health issues not yet identified by his healthcare provider, tell them about me. That conversation would open the pathway for more detailed testings. That conversation opened the pathway for Roberta. I was a guest on her podcast, Living Hope. She lost her father, grandmother, and uncle to Pancan. When a tumor was found on her pancreas, she was diagnosed and treated. Here's one more challenge that is bothersome. Try to answer this question. Is there an early diagnostic test that your doctor can give you to find out if you have pancreatic cancer? The answer is no. And approximately 66,000 people are diagnosed each year. So, what are those involved in this pancreatic cancer community doing? We have been making our voices heard through different forums and formats. I was part of an advocacy group organized by PanCan, and we visited the offices of our Congress representatives on Capitol Hill and presented our case for more research and funding. In addition, Purpose Stride 5K Walk for funding and research is under the umbrella of PanCan. My grandkids, Chase and Rain, supported me on the streets of Washington, D.C., while my son Dina was the photographer. I'm also privileged to be on the Patient Advisory Board of Let's Win Pancreatic Cancer Organization. Please check out the Doctor's Finder and Clinical Trials Locator sites at letswinpc.org. Also, in the interest of spreading hope, Let's Win documented my story a few years ago at the end of 5 years, and it's on YouTube titled, I'm Still Here, Angella Dixon-Watson. However, there's a slight update. My daughter Raquel Ann, seen in the video, left me in September 2024. Moving forward, what's my mission? It is to keep spreading hope that a PanCan diagnosis is not always a death sentence. When I entered this PanCan community, my thoughts were, will treatment work? Will my Heavenly Father fulfill his promises in Jeremiah 30, verse 17, which says, I will restore you to health and heal your wounds? Well, here's my answer. Yes, he did. Psalms 41, verse 3. The Lord nurses them when they are sick and restores them to health. Thankful that my family and friends lowered me on my sick bed before Jesus to secure my healing by using the power of prayer. Here are some nuggets that you may wish to include if you are faced with decisions regarding your healthcare treatment protocol. First, be comfortable with your medical team and your treatment protocol. I had the best medical team from the University of Maryland Hospital, Baltimore. Doctors Regine, Jan, Francis, and the surgeon who performed my whipple surgery, Dr. Alexander. Second, if experiencing ongoing pain in your stomach, back, and side, avoid self-diagnosing. Peppermint and ginger teas are excellent, but it's not always gas, my Caribbean folks. Please go see your primary care physician or gastroenterologist. Third, be your own healthcare advocate. Ask questions. My friend Yuna, diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer, was discharged by her oncologist before she even started treatment. And here's why. He told her she asked too many questions regarding the treatment protocol he suggested, which meant she did not trust him. Fourth, it's your body. Ask questions. Better still, ask a friend or family member to accompany you to consultations, because oftentimes you're so worried you do not hear one word that the doctor told you. In addition, if diagnosed with a terminal illness, find an anchor and hold on for strength. Your anchor may be a song, a prayer, or anything else that you choose. Here's a question. How do you support someone diagnosed with a terminal illness? Here's a suggestion. Kindly employ listening skills. If someone shares with you their heartfelt grief over a terminal diagnosis, although we mean well, this is not the time to share what we would do or not do when referring to a treatment protocol. I'm once again going to quote from the journal Today I Will Listen, which says, there's no applause for the gift of listening, but when one feels understood, that heart gives a quiet standing ovation of gratitude. I'm going to repeat. But when one feels understood, that heart gives a quiet standing ovation of gratitude. My pictorial illustration used as a caption confirms that prayers, chemo, and radiation escorted me through 7.5 months of a rigid treatment protocol. Thankfully, after monitoring me for 6 years, doing scans and labs, my oncology team discharged me in 2022. Here's why. All medical reports between 2017 to 2022 stated no cancer found. My anchor of gratitude is Psalms 30, verse 2. Oh Lord, I cried out for help, and you healed me. I'm grateful that my Heavenly Father's mercy keeps rewriting my life. However, I'm not careless. I still do my non-oncology related medical checkups. Here's a light moment of laughter. It's a conversation I had with one of my non-oncology doctors during one of my yearly visits. She told me that when I informed her of my pancreatic cancer diagnosis and the possibility that I may not make it to no, I may not make it to 6 months without treatment, she said under her breath, "I'll see you in the next life." Now, when I visit her office, she tells her staff, "This is my miracle patient." And we crack up laughing. In closing, I'm fully aware that chemo, radiation, and herbs have values. However, our God is the ultimate healer of all diseases. And as a reminder, please share websites letswinpc.org and pancan.org. Also, check out the chart titled Remember Risks, Signs, and Symptoms. And very important, your body speaks to you. Please listen to it and apply the principles outlined in Proverbs 4:7. Wisdom is supreme. So acquire wisdom, and whatever you may acquire, gain understanding. November is Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month. Let's save lives together by exposing symptoms and risk factors. We can do it. Thank you.